Hello, how are you?
Good. Nice to meet you.
Same here. It's good talking to you about such an interesting and important subject. Immunotherapy has become a hot number in the medical field in the last few years, and so it's good that we're having a chance to talk about it. And in addition, I think we now have Cancer Immunotherapy Awareness Month. Is that correct?
That's right. So yeah, it's a very important topic, cancer immunotherapy. It doesn't just affect us in 1 month. It's cancers all around us all year round. And I'm excited about the work that we're doing at OncoSec in this particular field, and happy to be on your show. Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Right. Well, I'm sure my Health Power audience will be pleased to learn more about immunotherapy. And while it's showing great promise, I understand in some cases immunotherapy works best as a single approach, and in other cases it's use of immunotherapy in combination with something else that works better.
Yeah, so let's take a step back, and I just want to tell you, when we talk about cancer immunotherapy, we're talking about using the body's innate power to target and fight cancer, and that's different than conventional approaches that have been used towards cancer treatment. We're actually activating the immune system. We're activating these immune cells so that they recognize cancer. Cancer is actually becoming more visible to the immune system, and the immune cells are learning and remembering what cancer cells are, and even having that memory response so that treatment continue. So yes, there's an opportunity for single therapies to work very effectively like that, but the immune system is very complex, and cancer immunity is a very complex component in terms of that cycle. So you need a combination of approaches in order to overcome the kind of subversion tactics around cancer.
Right. So now, with the immunotherapy, is this essentially having certain genes or chromosomes or something in the body that the therapy targets or triggers?
Yeah, so when we're talking about immunotherapy, we're talking about targeting specific components of that cancer immunity cycle. So different stimulating properties, different breaks of the immune system. Think about the immune system like a car. Okay, you have an accelerator, you have brakes. The accelerator is used to go move it forward and attack cancer. It also has self-regulation where it stops and idles. And there's classes of immunotherapies that do different functions. One class is called checkpoint inhibitors. And checkpoint inhibitors are like cutting the brakes to the immune system and keeping the accelerator down so you can actually have a fast kind of response. But they don't work very well because what if there's no soldiers there to actually fight the cancer? So that's where you need to bring in combinations. So coming back to your point about what is actually doing the job, it is a complex network of different immune stimulants or immune inhibiting functions that work in concert with one another to have the best response possible. And what you're trying to do, if you're just going to cut the brakes to the immune system, is actually put the accelerator down with another therapy to have a deeper, faster response.
Right. Now, are there different types of immunotherapies that work best for different cancers?
That's how the field is definitely evolving. So there's lots more work to be done. Researchers are now trying to pinpoint which different combinations of therapies work well for different cancers so we can reach patients everywhere. Specifically in our field at OncoSec, which is focused on melanoma, with our product Immunopulse IL-12, we see that there's a huge unmet need because the majority of patients that have been treated with the standard immunotherapy, which is a checkpoint inhibitor, only respond 30 to 40%. But when you combine it with Immunopulse IL-12, and we actually demonstrated this recently in data that we presented at a scientific meeting, we had a response of 75% positive response in those patients. So you're taking the 30 to 40% and bumping it up to 75%, albeit small numbers. We're actually doing a larger study to evaluate this, but there's the potential of the combination approach in certain indications, and that's where the field's evolving. We've got to understand that mechanism a bit more. We're going to understand which drugs are going to interact best and synergize with each other to have the best response.
Right. So now, essentially, you mentioned melanoma, I gather, as an area, which of course we know is a very malignant skin cancer, which is an area that your company focuses on. But are there others? In other words, normally you would say, well, we know about Jimmy Carter. What did he have?
He had melanoma, yes.
Oh, he had melanoma.
Yeah, and he actually was treated with a checkpoint inhibitor for melanoma. So, that's a great example. But yes, there's other cancers. So the checkpoint inhibitors, interestingly, have been approved in melanoma, in bladder cancer recently, in lung cancer. We have another immunotherapy that's been approved in prostate. And then there's a lot of clinical trials that have been that are in process right now that are looking at a whole range of different cancers. So there's lots of work to be done, but definitely the space is moving towards a combination of different approaches for having the best response.
I'm going to ask you a question which just strikes me because of the president putting the vice president in charge of an effort to defeat cancer, which we know is quite an undertaking.
Yeah.
Is immunotherapy sort of one of the key linchpins of what the vice president is trying to do?
Yeah, it was funny. I was going to bring that up with you. I'm glad you did. So it's a great initiative here in terms of the importance of combination-based approaches. So the national initiative by Vice President Joe Biden on what he calls the Cancer Moonshot 2020 program is actually focused on combination-based approaches. And again, we can appreciate kind of why. And especially in immunotherapies, they're very effective. They're being adopted really quickly. They're very powerful. They're having long-term responses. They're having potential for improvement in terms of side effects compared to conventional therapies. And those conventional therapies, they are good at shrinking tumors or treating the disease, but what if you leave some of the cancer behind? And then you're going to have a reoccurrence, or it's going to metastasize, or there's some residual cancer left that needs to be treated. So immunotherapy is really going more to the heart of the problem and has an opportunity to address the disease. And we hope that this initiatives like the national initiative and the work that's being done in the field and what we've seen already in terms of the progress can shift that pendulum towards a cure in cancer over time.
Now, one other thing. When we talk about combination therapy, are we basically talking about chemotherapy plus immunotherapy or radiotherapy plus immunotherapy? Or are we talking about more than one type of immunotherapy?
Yeah, absolutely. So there's not, as you know, there's no one single panacea that's going to be treating cancer. It is going to be a comprehensive kind of care approach where we're looking at multiple different approaches. And that does include, and we've seen research actually underway with immunotherapy being combined with radiation therapy, immunotherapy being combined with chemotherapy, immunotherapies being combined with other immunotherapies. So they're yet to see where it all is going to shake out in different types of indications. But the fact is clear that there's still lots more work to be done because the majority of patients don't respond to a single therapy, and you need to figure out what is the right combination. So we're excited about the work we're doing in melanoma and in breast cancer and in head and neck cancer, where we're addressing this problem of the non-responders with some of the standard of care therapies out there in these particular indications.
Well, it's very interesting work. I would really like, if possible, for us to talk subsequently, or maybe do a blog post or something that would allow the general public to understand basically the kind of progress that's being made.
I would love that opportunity. I really appreciate the opportunity, Dr. Goodwin. There's some exciting stuff that's happening here. This dialogue needs to continue. It's more than just Cancer Immunotherapy Awareness Month. Every day, it's Cancer Immunotherapy Awareness at OncoSec, and we're excited to talk anytime you are.
Okay, and so I'm sure that I think there's going to be a video put up on our website about the discussion we're having now, and I will be back in touch with you to see if we can do something for the general public that can also be put on the website.
Great. Look forward to the opportunity. Thanks again.
Good talking to you. Have a good day.
You too.